Hello guys. So in the video நம்ம tax law chapter 1 direct taxes at a glance. So we are going to see a brief um, video and discussion about the chapter. So importance wise this chapter is இந்த சாப்டர் வந்து உங்களுக்கு வந்து எவ்வளோ மார்க் கொஷின்ஸ் வரும்னா we will get 1 minute guys. So we get only 2 to 3 marks from this chapter. So yes, we'll start the video and we'll start paying attention to the video. So நம்ம பார்த்தோம்னா we have the introduction for the term tax and the definition for the term tax. So what is tax basically? Tax na enna? The word tax is based upon the Latin word. So I am reading the question இங்க வந்து நமக்கு வந்து கொடுத்திருக்காங்க இங்க the definition. So I am reading this. Yes. So this definition, the word tax is based on the Latin word taxo, which means to estimate. To tax means to impose a financial charge or other levy upon a taxpayer. So it is to the term taxo. The term taxo is, the word taxo means to estimate. Okay. To tax means to impose a financial charge to other levy upon a taxpayer, an individual or legal entity, by a state or the functional equivalent of a state, such that failure to pay tax, the tax is punishable by law. Yes. So next we have the taxation has existed since the birth of early civilization. So in the chapter வந்து ரொம்ப least important chapterனால I am going fast. Okay. Taxation has existed since the birth of early civilization. In ancient times, taxes were either material. So in early times, the taxation is either material or money, like goods or services in the primitive society. So the subjects used to pay a share of their income. So the subjects, meaning the persons at that time, used to pay tax as the share. அவங்களோட இன்கம்ல இருக்கிற ஒரு ஷேரை தான் they used to pay as tax to the head. 1 minute guys, I'll reduce the size. Okay. So it is the subjects used to pay share of their income. They used to pay share of their income to the head of a tribe or to the king, who in return provided them the administration security from the foreign aggression and other civic amenities. So please take your textbooks with you. உங்களோட டெக்ஸ்ட் புக்கை நீங்கள் பக்கத்தில் வச்சுட்டு அதுக்கப்புறமா லிசன் டு திஸ் கிளாஸ். நான் ஹைலைட் அண்ட் பாக்ஸ் பண்ணுற எல்லா sentences and words are very important. So yes. So next we'll move on to the next part, which is Genesis. So Genesis we have. So Genesis, yes. So the people preferred to pay money. In the medieval centuries, feudalism was founded. So the origin of modern tax system also was founded. So nama second para vandona, here we have, then with the development of economic sciences and with the passage of time, the functions of modern state appeared and taxation gradually became a tool of usage with more than one goal and became important source of revenue. So during the 19th and 20th century, we have there has been both quantitative and qualitative change in the public expenditures. Taxation has passed through the stages with passage of time, and tax functions and objectives have also changed from the ancient communities to medieval societies and modern societies also. So the tax system has evolved with the evolution of the functions of the modern state. So நம்ம அப்படியே லாஸ்ட் பேரா வந்தோன்னா, last parallel, until the early 1930s it was universally accepted. Until the early 1930s it was universally accepted in principle that governments should balance their budgets. So thus the principal reason for taxation was to pay for government expenditures. Of course governments had from time to time resorted to borrowing in order to pay from their expenditures, and government borrowing was relatively quite large during some war periods. So here the last line irukla, it is very important. Yes. A portion of taxes also goes to pay off the state's debt and the accumulated interest. I'll change the color 1 minute. Yes. So this is important. Here we have the characteristics of taxes. We have first one, we have the compulsory tax. Compulsory tax is a tax is imposed by law. So tax is compulsory. Tax is compulsory payment to the governments from its citizens. So tax is a compulsory payment to the government from its citizens. Tax is duty of every citizen to bear his or her share for supporting the government. So we have tax is the duty of every citizen to bear his share for supporting the government. The tax is compulsory. It is a compulsory payment. Refusal and objection for paying tax due leads to punishment. So tax pay pannana, it leads to punishment. Next we have taxes contribution. So what taxes contribution? ஸோ இதில் வந்து நம்ம வந்து ஹெட்டிங்ஸ் மட்டும் வாசித்தா போதும் guys. So it is not much important. You can heading வாசித்தாலே you can quote the lines, நீங்களாவே வந்து எழுதிடலாம். So we have taxes contribution, taxes for public benefit, no direct benefit, taxes paid out of income of the taxpayer. Government has to pay to levy tax. Tax is not the cost of benefit. Taxes for the economic growth and public welfare. So next we will come to the chapter. இதுலேருந்து அவங்க சிலபஸ் ஆரம்பிக்குது. Direct versus indirect taxes. Direct versus indirect taxes. We have types of taxation. Types of taxation, we have direct and indirect taxes. We have these types. Those are income tax, corporation tax, capital gains tax and capital acquisition tax. So these types come under direct tax. Indirect tax, we have only two types, which are indirect tax. We have only two types, which are GST and custom duties. We are going to see it one by one. So side we have the advantages and disadvantages of taxes. So advantages patona, we have it is based on direct taxes or advantages. It is based on the principle of equity, certainty and economy, convenient to the taxpayer, acts as the automatic stabilizer. Advantages of indirect tax: cost of collection is low, easier to extract from the public. It is easier to extract from the public, doesn't discourage work, acts as automatic stabilizer. And next we have the disadvantages of direct tax. As it rises, work is discouraged, tax evasion rises, it can discourage investment. The disadvantages of indirect tax: inflationary and deflationary, non-equitable, hard to predict. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of direct tax. So we have here the definition of direct and indirect taxes. Direct tax we have taxes which are directly levied on income of the person. It is directly levied on the income of the person, and its burden cannot be shifted for. So ஒரு personோட income it is directly levied and அவரோட burden is cannot be shifted. And in indirect tax அப்படின்னா, indirect taxes are imposed on price of goods or services. It is imposed on the price of goods or services. Person paying the indirect tax can shift the incidence to other person. We'll see what is in incidence. The difference between direct and indirect tax is given here. So what is direct and indirect tax? So direct and indirect tax, we have impact, incidence and impact. So what is incidence here? Incidence abina burden of payment. A tax is said to be direct when impact and incidence of a tax are one person and same person. Incidence is the payment or the burden of the payment, and indirect tax we have. So what is the incidence and impact on indirect tax? If impact of tax is on one person and incidence on the other, the tax is called indirect. What is the burden of direct tax? Direct tax is imposed on the individual. It is imposed on the individual organization, and burden of the tax cannot be shifted. And burden of indirect tax is imposed on commodities and allows the tax burden to shift. Next we have the viability of payment. We have what is viability of payment here? We have two viabilities. We have viability of payment and administrative viability. So indirect tax are the viability, direct tax are lesser burden. And the indirect taxes to people are direct. Taxes are based on income earning ability. It is based on the income earning ability of the people. And indirect tax are borne by the consumers of the commodities and services irrespective of financial ability, as MRP includes all taxes. Administrative viability abina proper application of all sections in income tax. So this is the meaning of viability. Administrative viability, proper application of all the sections in income tax. The administrative cost of collecting direct tax is more and improper. The administrative cost of collecting direct tax. The administrative cost of collecting direct tax is more, and improper administration may result in tax evasion. And what is cost of collecting indirect tax is very indirect tax. The cost of collecting indirect tax is very less, as indirect tax are wrapped or wrapped up prices of the goods and cannot be evaded. And penalty, what is a penalty? It is the punishment. So in indirect tax, it is levied on the assessee, and in indirect tax it is levied on the supplier of goods and services. So we saw the difference between direct and indirect tax. This is very important. And next we'll move on to the merits and demerits of tax. Merits and demerits of tax, we have first one is equity. We have equity, which is direct taxes have equity of sacrifice depend upon the volume of income. So direct taxes have equity of sacrifice depend upon the value, the volume of income. It depends upon the volume of income, and they are based on the progressive principle. So rates of tax increase as the level of price of persons decrease. So income increase ஆச்சுன்னா டேக்ஸ் கட்டுறோம்ல அது இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஓகே, அதே மாதிரி it is vice versa. இன்கம் டிக்ரீஸ் ஆச்சுன்னா நமக்கு டேக்ஸ் கட்டுற ரேட் வந்து டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஓகே, ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் வாட் இட் இஸ் செட் ஹியர். And second one is elasticity and productivity. Direct taxes have elasticity because when the government face some emergency like earthquake, floods and famine, the government can collect the money for facing those problems by direct tax. And next we have the certainty. Direct taxes have certainty on both sides, taxpayer and government. The taxpayers are aware of the. So next we have the certainty, which is we can read it. 1 minute, guys. Yes, and next we have reduce inequality. Direct taxes have direct taxes follow progressive principles. So it is taxing the rich people. So it is taxing the rich people with higher level of taxation and the poor people with lower level of taxation. Next we have good instrument in case of inflation. Good instrument in case of inflation abina, it is too much money chasing too few goods. Too much money chasing too few goods. Tax policy as fiscal instrument plays important role in the case of inflation. So government can absorb the excess money, raising the rate of existing taxes or imposition of new taxes. Next we have the simplicity. Direct tax are simple, while the rules, procedures and regulations of income tax are very clear and simple. Demerits of direct taxes. We have evasion. Direct tax is lump sum, therefore taxpayers try evasion. The direct tax is lump sum. Uneconomically, unpopular, little incentive to work and save, not suitable for poor country, arbitrary, not suitable for poor country. So இங்கே uneconomically அப்படின்னா expenses. Second point, uneconomically abina, expenses of collection are higher in case of direct taxes because they require widespread staff for collection. So who are the staffs to collect? யார் வந்து who are the people who collect tax? So the person who collects tax is called as So the person who collect tax is called as the assessing officer. So இந்த assessing officer is called also known as the AO. இவர் என்ன பண்ணுவார்னா இப்போ வந்து சிஏ ஒரு சிஏ இருக்காங்க, சிஏ வந்து is one body. CA, he files the ITR, income tax return. He files the ITR, which is income tax return. It is done by CA or some other individual, okay, and is அதை ஃபைல் பண்ணுறத he assessing officer, he checks it. Persons who ensure that you make correct payment of tax to the government, those persons are known as assessing officers, okay. Next we have what is